Hi folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report. I talked another time about a friend of mine, Bobby Helms, who grew up in the Adirondacks and who now is living in Canton and is fishing our waters. And he has a lifetime experience of being able to sort of get the most out of these places because he's a great fisherman. But we were talking about things as he's projecting into the new season. And he says, the one thing I believe is that the walleyes are going to be in really good shape this year because those big fish, the big walleyes that move in to the shallow water in preparation for spawning, they weren't pressured this winter because the ice formations were so different than other winters. The ice wasn't safe in the areas where these fish start to congregate. Now let's think of some of these spots. For example, Wheat House Bay in Ogdensburg. That bay used to freeze over and it becomes solid, and there'd be tournaments out there, and so many people could go out there and catch both northern pike, perch, and also the walleyes would move in and out from the deeper current areas into the bay. Well, this year, the ice wasn't really safe there. There would be a few days where there'd be ice, and then the winds would change, and they'd blow a lot of this ice out, and it could be a very dangerous spot to try to go ice fishing. The same with Chameau Bay. Chameau Bay is a huge body of water where some of the greatest walleye fishermen in the north, some of the greatest walleye fishing in the north takes place because those big walleyes move in from Lake Ontario. Well, a lot of areas of Chameau Bay weren't as safe to be out on the ice as other times. And again, the fish weren't pressured quite the same. Now, there were some monster walleyes taken out of there this winter, but still, I think it's important to realize that all along the river, places that once were easily fished by ice fishermen weren't fished so much this year. Again, near the Iroquois Dam, there's areas of water there where those fish will come in the winter and be very susceptible to anglers being able to catch some of these biggest walleyes. They might not have been pressured as much this winter. So what does that mean? It means that the new year class of walleyes really has a foot up. They really, it seems like there's a great possibilities for the population of walleyes this year to go forward. Also, there should be a lot of good big walleye still out there to pass on the genes and also to serve as sport for fishermen after the spawning time. Now, remember a couple things. The Grass River, from where it empties into the St. Lawrence all the way back to the first barrier, Messina, you can't fish until May 1st when walleye season opens. You can't fish it for anything in there because those walleyes stack in there, and they're really susceptible to people not observing the law, going in there and really putting huge pressure on the population. Same thing with the Oswegatchie River in Ogdensburg, where the river spills into the St. Lawrence all the way back to the dam. You can't fish in there right now. And the interesting thing is there's probably steelhead that have worked their way into the Oswegatchie right there, but you can't fish for them. And and I'm not lamenting on this. Yeah, it'd be fun to catch some steelhead, but the important thing is that we need to protect that resource that we have when we can do it. And any fish during the spawning season is the most vulnerable. That's why in our area we don't open bass season till later to give those fish a chance to spawn successfully and for us to keep that resource at its level. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report.